Right, these peas are all done, and after a couple of days the mice hadn't dug these up, so I've added the other pot. The other problem are pigeons, so what I've done is at this end I've put a rod with a hole at the top, and I've done the same at this end. So I'm going to stretch a thin wire across. Now this is the woven wire that somebody was throwing away, and they said, what are you doing with that? Picking up rubbish again. But this is perfect because they can't perch on it, but they can see it, so it stops them trying to land close to this. So I'll take a stand of this, string it up, and I'll bring you back. So that will deter pigeons. Once the peas get going and go up here, and I have got room to stretch it, I will put another piece of wire across here, so I can stretch this higher a bit. Some of these are actually shorter and they only come up to about 150, but I think one of them can go up to 180, so if he needs it I can raise this a little bit. Really, at the end of the year, the only thing I need to do is take this netting down and just refresh these pots, and everything else can stay. This can stay, this can stay. All I've got to do is take the netting down to extend its life. I mean, I could leave it, but I'll take it down when I don't need it. And next year it will be a matter of minutes to put the peas in, and I've already thought of a better way of raising these pots so the mice can't get to them, but I've done it now for this year. Next year I'll be able to raise this, and then I'll be able to sow direct into here, protected from the mice, but that's for next year. I've been that busy outside that I haven't actually shown you what's been going on in the greenhouse. As you can see, it is absolutely rammed with plants. Really can't get any more in. I've got this borage that needs potting up, but I'm wondering where to put it. And I'm getting tomatoes, and we're on the 14th of May, so that's a ripe tomato. Celery is coming along fine. Under the benches, it's actually sitting under the benches. It seems to be doing fine. That one right in the corner, that little one at the back, is not quite as big as these, but that's because it's getting less light. But in a couple of days I think I'll be safe to take them out. It's pots on top of pots because I've got the marigolds, I've got the courgettes, and they're sitting on top of the tomatoes, and the tomatoes are coming along, that's coming along, that's coming along, and the early courgettes are alright. I've got little baby courgettes. I think that one's alright. That's a male flower, that's a male flower, but that's a young courgette. The aubergines are doing fine. I potted them up, but I've not put them in the big pots yet because I wanted them in a compact little space, so that if it was going to be really cold and frosty, I could come in and throw a piece of something over these. But they seem to be doing fine. And not little aubergine, tiny little aubergine. So it's all taking shape. Peppers, tomatoes. That's a weed in a pot, but I'll sort that out. More courgette on this one, so I think I might get some early courgettes. Peppers are doing okay. Tomatoes, as always, going gangbusters. Parsley's ready. Now this is supposed to be a curly leaf, so it's not disease, it's just that's how it's supposed to be. And the amaranth is doing fine. Some are bigger than others, but that's life. The squashes and courgettes are doing fine. Some things had a chew on some of the basil leaves, but otherwise the plants are healthy. And once I pot them up, they'll perk up, but having handled these now, I've got the smell of basil. Oh, they're lovely. Can't wait for the first pest of the year. Always one of my favourites. I've tidied up and cleared this corner. These panels are now there to stop all this stuff growing over onto my side, so this area can be used. And I'm going to bring the other bath and put it along there, and then there will be a little bit of a space here, and I will put something else there later, but let's move in the bath first. and I've been using it as a cold frame with netting to protect the seedlings from the birds. So it's had the netting, and then I've had the plastic sheets ready in case we get a frost, but we've been alright. So I'll move these somewhere else. There's still some soil in this bath, so I'll empty that out into some of these crates, move the bath and put the soil back, and then I will fill it with the rest of the well-rotted clippings and things and the stuff from the path. But this bath is a big heavy metal bath, so it's going to take some shifting. This old metal bath is really heavy. Even empty it weighs a ton. It took me all my strength just to actually lift it out of where it was. I need help moving it because I've got to drag it from here round to there, and then I've got to lift it over this and put it over there, and then put some bricks under it. It is not a one-person job, so I'll leave that for now. I decided that this was too difficult to handle lifting it over into that corner, so I just dragged it from where it was up there, and I've dragged it and put it here in this corner just by the gate. I mean, the rubbish still needs collecting, and I've partially filled it, and I will be planting the celeriac and the leeks into it. And here I will have something else like a lemon balm or a mint, and the same here, so that we can actually move those small pots out of the way and get in here and trim the hedge, because obviously we can get in on that side because of the greenhouse. We don't want this to get too tall and shade out the greenhouse. So I've checked with my neighbour. This is the height he wants it, so that's fine, and we can get in here in this corner, move the mint out of the way because it'll be just a small pot, and move that out of the way, and then we can get in and trim here and trim in that corner, and the rest he can do from the other side. But it's getting into this area that's a problem. You can see how many bindweed roots were under this bath. I will come and lift these in a bit, and fairly easy now because it means, but it's like lifting fishing nets, isn't it? You see it's quite nasty, but it comes off. And because it's these roots are under there, you just keep pulling the bindweed, and just keeps coming back from this. So once I've got these pulled, that's going to put it back quite a bit. You won't get rid of it, but it'll put it back a bit. And this one was the same where the other bath was, and I cleared that, and there's only that odd one that I missed that's coming up, and I can pull those out. But this stuff is all from that, and it's going all over the place, but I'll sort these out. Now this bath was on the other plot, so I brought that here, and this will be used for planting. So instead of manhandling that great big heavy metal bath, this plastic bath is going to do that job. And it's a bit tatty, but that doesn't matter. It's a funny shape because it's got that little curvy bit. This is straight, this is normal bath shape, but it's got that little curvy bit, and it's very tight. You can see that's where the lover's barrel is, so it's very tight, but I managed to get it in. And behind it is a little bit of space left, but because it's all like bits of metal that are buried in there and lots of rocks and things, it's not stable enough to put a water barrel here, and it's a bit difficult to access because obviously I've got a barrel here. So I think what I will do is just use that as a bit of storage space. So I've got to fill this bath as well, and it's all been checked and levelled, and you can see I've got to pour water in there. It'll all drain. That will drain well, so if I want to put something like garlic in here, then it'll be fine. And this will be the other bath. I've brought the horseradish from the other plot, because this is solid concrete under it, so he can't escape like he has done on the other plot. I used this pot because that was the only big pot I had at the time when I first started on the allotment. This one is a little bit tatty, but I will pot this up and then that will be okay. I think something has had a chew on this. But this one is okay. It was a bit overgrown because the hedge was overgrown and it was shading this out, but once it's had a bit of sun and a bit of water, it'll be fine. So I've got my horseradish here, but I will split this mint probably next year. I put it in here last year, and the centre where it was, that bit's died off, but it's spread around, which mint does. So I will split this at some point. And I've got plenty of lemon balm in pots, and those will go around the bath at the front. The comfrey I've planted, you can see it's up to shading the greenhouse now, so I need to get it cut and used. The only problem is the council still haven't collected all these bits of rubbish. I put all this stuff here thinking, oh, they'll be gone by the time the comfrey and things come up, so I'll have to move this because see, that comfrey in the behind it is okay, but I think there's one or two under here, so I need to move these and put them over here somewhere, and then this lot will be freed to grow. Certainly the comfrey barrel and the nettle barrel and the weed barrel will be going well this year. I've yet to decant what I put in last year, so I need to get on with that, but lower priority than the other jobs, so it'll get done when it gets done. Every spadeful I'm having to go through and pick the bits of carpet and all the fibres, plastic fibres that are left, and pick those up and put them in the bucket there. But I've hit the mother load here. You can see it's on this carpet with this plastic backing. This is all rotting apart. It's all rotted and falling apart, and leaving this behind. So yeah, it's a right job clearing it. But once I've gone through it, it doesn't look too bad. Now I'm not relying just solely on that. I am putting in a little bit of soil as well that was actually originally in this bath, and I saved some in these containers. So what I've been doing is layering the soil with what I'm scraping from here, so it should be a nice rich mixture, because obviously this has still got woody bits in it and there's a lot of carbon in it and probably not as much nutrients as plants would need, but I've got the soil and I've also got liquid feeds, so if the plants look a little bit peaky, I can add a bit of that as well. So the compost stuff and some of the soil to it. So that should make sure that there are some minerals in here. And one more layer of the composted stuff. Should be enough to keep this back. And then as it goes down, oh, I missed a stone there, a bit of root or something. As it goes down, obviously the compost will disappear and break down, so as time goes by I'll just top it up with more compost and that should be fine. So I've topped off that layer of soil with another layer of the composted wood chips and soil from the path, so I think this is enough to plant into. Still finding bits of bindweed, but even little pieces like this will give me problems, so it's worth the time to go through and find every little last bit of bindweed. I'll still miss the odd one, but I'd rather have one piece of bindweed than 10. So going through, even though I've gone through it twice and I put it back on the bath, it's still finding little pieces. Life is sometimes like a good news, bad news joke. The good news is that I've got this area by the gate sorted. So I've got lemon balm on this side. It doesn't mind a little bit of shade, so it'll be fine over here. And they're in pots because I can move the pots out, get in here and cut this hedge here. Otherwise it's impossible because the greenhouse is on that side, and obviously we don't want this hedge to get too tall and shade out this greenhouse. So being able to pull these out, I can get in here, trim this hedge. In here I've got pak choi, celeriac and leeks. Now the pak choi will go soon, so the celeriac will have all the space it needs and the leeks around it, so hopefully that will help with the root fly. Now I put this slightly shade cloth type netting on top to sort of shade these out a little bit whilst they get established, because it's been boiling hot. We've got a bee in there that's got trapped itself, managed to get itself trapped in there. That's why I don't like using fine netting, because you can trap insects. I'll take that off and let it get out, and then I will eventually replace it with some other netting, but it needs something to stop the pigeons. But then that wider netting will allow bees and things to get in and out, so that shouldn't be a problem. And then I've got chives and mint on this side. I've had problems on the other plot with root fly on celeriac. They just decimate it. So I'm going to try it here with leeks around the celeriac, and then I've got lemon balm on one side, mint and chives on the other side, so there's a lot of different smells that should confuse it. So even without the enviromesh, the celeriac should be protected from the root fly. The little bit of space that was left here, I've put in this half small barrel resting on this wooden structure. Now this is something somebody else was given away because they didn't want it, and that's sitting on top of bricks. These peas I transplanted, but next time I should be able to just sow peas into here and mice won't be able to get up, because if I put my hand there, that's quite a climb for a mouse on a sloping surface going that way. So it's not going to be able to climb up that, and it's not going to be able to climb up the sides, so it should be mouse proof, and we'll sort something out for the pigeons. And in early spring I should be able to just put a piece of glass or plastic over the top of this, and that will act as a cold frame for the peas to get them started, and then they'll be fine. They don't need that much protection. And now for the bad news. I filled these baths and watered them yesterday. I made sure they were really well watered before I planted into them, and I had everything ready to start planting. I knocked this and it tipped over because the support has come away. Now it's been there for donkey's years, and I grew potatoes in here last year, not a problem, but sod's law. I've got a bath full of wet, heavy compost that I've got to take out, and it's a heavy metal bath anyway, so I've got to dig everything out, take everything out of this, level it, put everything back, and then I can start planting. So that's going to waste a couple of hours that I didn't have, so that means that something like the planting of sweet corn will have to wait another day. I was hoping to get that done, and it's a really sunny day, scorching hot, and I'm messing about digging baths, but it's got to be done. One life, it gives you lemons, it takes away your sugar. You can't make lemonade. Right, I've put in 3 parsley plants in front of these peas, and that's this area done. I'll plant some of the rest of the parsley around the place. This Loganberry needs putting up because the roots are coming through, so I'll have to put this up. And now I've got this barrel here ready. It's in front of the greenhouse, and there's the water barrels, so I can put the filtered liquid plant food in there, which is a mixture of nettles and weeds, so that will go in here. It's empty now, but I will put that on. And I'm trying to do this one-handed. This lid is heavy, so that's not going to shift. So I can come in with my watering cans, put a little bit of this in, fill it with water from there, and water either the greenhouse or what I need to round here. I've emptied the bath. I put the contents into these pots, and pots over there, pots over there, so when I need to refill it I can just tip these pots back in, so that shouldn't take long. Taking the weeds that were here and dug up all the weeds. Now that I can see how they actually leveled this bath, I'm amazed at what they've done. I'm surprised it didn't fall over sooner. I suppose I should be grateful that it did it before I planted anything into it, because if it had done it later on with established plants, then I wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. But I mean, that is quite a steep angle that it's leaning at, so this mess needs to be sorted out because it's a complete mess. I need to re-level all this, and then once the bath is sorted I can start doing the planting. There is a bit of space between the bath and the edge of this coal frame, the bricks of this coal frame. I did think about putting it closer when it was just this bath here, and I thought no, because it might interfere with whatever or top I put on this coal frame. The bath might interfere with it if it's too close, so I'll keep this distance, because otherwise if I bring it closer now, the other bath is there and there'll be a gap between the two of them, and that's no good. So I'll do that. Well, that's going to be a lot of huffing and puffing, because this thing is a metal bath and it's not like something you can just shift with one hand. Well, I found the cause of that. It's this piece of brick just cracked, and it was supporting the weight of the bath, so it cracked and gave way. My neighbour's given me a hand to level this, and it's down on there, it's level on there, and it's pretty level that way. It's a bit off this way, but it's rock steady now, so I can get on. Well, there's people cutting hedges, so you'll have to excuse the noise of the trimmers and hedge cutters. But I've got this bath sorted, filled and partially planted. Planted some cotton Comigan lettuce in there, and then the rest of it will be successional beetroot. And this one has got turnips and bull's blood beetroot for baby leaf. Just put this darker netting on top for the moment till they've had a couple of days to settle, because it's absolutely scorching as usual. Whenever I plan to do a mass planting, everything goes dry. So these two baths are done.